All right, it's about time. Let's get started. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Okay, so welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar session. My name is Yubin Huang and I am one of the member in ICUDDR Asia Pacific Training Committee. Today we are presenting Listen First by Ms. Lundstrom. She's going to talk about a UNODC drug use prevention initiative that promotes the well-being of children and youth, their children and their communities. I'm letting you all know that the session is being recorded. Recording will be uploaded at ICUDDR website. The presentation relevant materials such as PDF file for our presentation and certificates will also be emailed to attendees. If you have any questions during her session, please type them in English into the chat box on your right under part of your screen. We may go over them during the session and we will also have time for questions at the end. Now I will turn you over to Verna, Chair of ICUDDR, Asia Pacific Training Committee, for her opening remarks and introduction of our speaker.
Thank you very much, Yubin. So good day, everyone. I think we are on different time zones. For some, good morning. For others, good afternoon. And for the rest, I think it's good evening. So thank you for joining us for the first webinar for this year's activity of the ICUDDR Asia Pacific Training Committee. This year, we are going to focus on drug use prevention, school-based innovations. And as such, we want to start the webinar with one of the programs developed by the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime about Listen First. And we are very privileged to have with us Ms. Jenny Roston Lundstrom. Jenny is a consultant coordinating the dissemination and outreach of its global campaign, Listen First. This initiative is started by UNODC Prevention, Treatment, and Rehabilitation Section to increase support for science-based drug use prevention worldwide in 2016. So Jenny is a producer and co-owner of Eaton Films, the film production company that produced the Listen First materials. Jenny has 15 years of professional experience working in the international field of human rights, communication, and film production. She has produced and provided research to documentary and fiction projects for television, broadcast, and cinema, as well as numerous films and public service announcements for organizations such as the United Nations TV, OHCHR, UN Women, UNODC, CTBTO, and UNISDR, amongst many others. Amongst her recent films are the documentary The Subversives, released in cinemas in Spain, and a candidate for Best Documentary of the Gaudi Awards 2020. As a previous NGO human rights officer based in The Hague, Jenny worked closely with human rights defenders, minority communities, and LGBT groups in Europe, South Asia. So she conducted field research and advocated for change with the UN, EU, and governments, and worked for the inclusion of minority groups within the UN and the international mechanism. So, ladies and gentlemen, so I present to you Jenny. But before we begin, let me show you a short primer on Listen First. Oops, sorry. Wait, I have to be the presenter. Okay, there it goes. Oh, I received a message from Jenny that it's not working. You can't see the presentation.
I
We
can
see
see
it, but it's quite it's quite glitchy, sort of. It's a bit delayed.
Okay, so let's try that one more time and see. Okay, Jenny, you have the floor.
Thank you. I will give it a try from my end, see if we can share the video, so that let's just give it a shot, because I thought it was difficult to see the video. Can you see it now? Let's see if it works better this way.
Unfortunately, it's the same. I'm just wondering, when you share your screen, whether there's an option to optimize it for video, for motion and video, when in the sort of the sharing process.
So, sorry, I don't know. Did that work better? Did it work any better, the video?
I'm not sure it was, unfortunately, I think it was the same. I think there might be a setting to optimize it for video with screen sharing, but perhaps we could try again at the end, maybe.
Let's do that. Okay, let's get started. Thank you so much, Berna and ICDR, for inviting me to speak today about Listen First. This is a really great opportunity for us, because Listen First is a program, a drug use prevention program, that was created really to be used by prevention workers, educators, such as yourselves. So we really hope that after this presentation, many of you will be inspired to use a Listen First in your work, and that you will get in touch with me afterwards, so that I can help you and facilitate this. Let's see. Can you see the slide? Is the slide sharing?
It's still in the, not in the presenter's phone. Oh, Dr. Prabhapon is there, yes.
Is it okay now? Yes?
it's not showing us full slide. It's more
I
like
see that it's very unfortunate. We had this, was It doesn't seem to be sharing full here. Is this still okay, or it's not sharing full screen?
I mean,
Yeah,
we can see, maybe you can push the X button on your properties.
the slideshow.
Let me see. Here we go. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So without further ado, so the video we were trying to show you here, that we will send you also all the links later, was the actual first video that launched Listen First program in 2016. And this was launched during the UN General Assembly special session UNGAS on the world drug problem back in 2016. And it began as a campaign for science-based drug use prevention that is focusing on listening to children in order to keep them happy and safe. Positive parenting is also another very important aspect of Listen First. And essentially what I want to say is that Listen First is a drug use prevention tool that is not talking about drugs. It is not talking about substances. It is really about keeping children and youth safe, happy, and healthy. So as such, it can be used also to achieve many other things in society, anti-bullying, mental health, even anti-violence. So since 2016, Listen First has grown into a global campaign. It's being used now by governments and prevention professionals and organizations worldwide. And here are a few first points that I want to make about Listen First. Number one, this is really focusing on positive parenting and active listening. And many of you, I believe, are psychologists, so you will know how important active listening really is in children's development and in substance prevention. So we're talking about listening, but it's also about communication, right? It's about paying attention to children, about parental monitoring and involvement, which are some of the most important protective factors there are in substance prevention. And listening to children also proves that they are loved. And we know that children who receive attention are also growing more confident. They are less likely to develop mental health issues and engage in other risky behaviors. So this is really the key message, the key point of Listen First is to help strengthening positive parenting and active listening to children. They are also, it's very important to us that they are linked to science. So they are science-based, meaning that they are created within the framework of the UNODC and WHO international standards on drug use prevention. And this is a great resource. If you haven't already seen them in your work, I can recommend strongly to go and look at them. I will also share this material afterwards in the email. Because the international standards on drug use prevention is basically the framework that UNODC is using to develop any substance prevention programs. They will be within this framework. It's a framework that shows what kind of science that works, what's effective in drug use prevention, and also what is not. So it's providing a summary of the scientific standards that we have today. All these materials have also been, of course, reviewed by scientists, by experts within and outside of the UNODC, so that you can be sure that you have a material that has been reviewed and by experts, both in psychologists, but also in humanitarian field, for example, to make sure that they are relevant to target groups all over the world. But it's also very important to us that this material is fun and engaging. So it's science-based, but it should also be fun. It has to be accessible for the target groups. It has to be accessible for children and parents as well. So this is a lot of focus is put on making the materials accessible. Diversity, meaning that these materials are made to be used around the world. So they have to be diverse, they have to be inclusive. For example, the characters you see are purple, so that means that they can represent people anywhere in the world, and they have also been used around the world. It is not a standalone. This is super important. Listen First is not actually a program by itself. It's really a resource. So we are creating a resource that should be used and incorporated into other prevention approaches, so into the programs that are existing and that are working. And we will get into that a little bit later. Also, as you can see, the target groups for Listen First have been parents, teachers, policymakers, health workers, and prevention workers. And this is just to give you an overview over the 3 sets of materials that we have with Listen First at the moment. They are the very original videos of Listen First from 2016, one of them which we tried to show you earlier. And then we have Science of Care and we have Science of Skills, the latest material. And let's go into them a little bit in depth. So the original Listen First materials, they had 3 areas of focus. It was active listening, which was the first video. And then the other 2 videos are about rule setting, the importance of family rules, and the importance of parental involvement. Because it's proven that these are 3 areas that are super important when it comes to drug prevention, when it comes to creating healthy and well-developed children. They are based on science, of course, and these videos are directly targeting parents. And next to the videos, there will also be science sheets, so you can get more information about the science that is behind the videos. And we will also go to the website later and take a look at where you can find these materials. Then in 2020, when the pandemic happened, that's when we decided to develop the second phase, the Science of Care. This is a super important material. It was developed as a material to help parents in this very difficult time, to provide parents with science-based, but also easy to understand material in terms of parenting and how to manage during the pandemic, lockdowns, but also beyond. And the Science of Care are composed of 10 videos, and they are covering these 10 areas that you can see that have been identified as very important areas where families can play a huge role in affecting the children and in how they, in basic parenting skills. So it's about supporting positive parenting, and through these videos that are also coming with science sheets. And we will also show you towards the end, we'll try to, hopefully the technology can be with us so we can see one of the videos here. But these are very short videos with very clear messages to parents about how important, for example, affection is, how important it is to have routines in the home, the importance of physical activity, and so on. And this is the Listen First family then that is featured in all the videos. Our latest material was launched in November last year, and it is Super Skills, the Science of Skills. This is a material that is slightly different from the Science of Care, but they are targeting primary age children, and it's about social and emotional learning. Because we know that social and emotional learning is actually one of the most important areas to invest in for children at this age group in terms of substance prevention. So this material is targeting children directly, as well as people who work with children. So they are 3D animated. We have created this world that is fun, that is adventurous, and you have 4 super skills characters that are the superheroes, basically, of this program. And they are, you can see them here, they all have their own special skills, and some might call it disabilities because they have very big ears, very big nose, helpful handy hands, very huge hands. So they are different from the other children, but they are learning to use their differences and to overcome the challenges that they are faced, and they're using their social and emotional skills to actually use their skills to help others in their community. So these videos are a really beautiful, little longer videos, 5 videos with science sheets as well. And the science sheets are connecting to skills that are very important in social and emotional learning. And you will see them down here, the kind of competences that we're talking about. These videos then also come with science sheets. So each video has, there are 10 sheets, and you can see here, for example, how they look like. So again, these videos are not meant to just be shown, but you have to also use them and interact and engage with your stakeholders next to show the videos. So these are the science sheets for that. They all have a basic definition of what it means, so compassion in this case. And then you have why it matters. You have the science behind it. And if you want to learn even more, you can go to the website, and you can also see the science resources that are attached to each science sheets. And then they are connected on the back side. They look like this. So those were the materials that we have. Shortly we'll also actually go and see on the website, and hopefully we can also get to see the videos at the end. But these are the main materials we have right now. So as I mentioned, Listen First has become global, and this is just to give you an idea of the many countries that are using Listen First at the moment. Now in 2020, Listen First has been translated into around 10 languages. This is mainly for science of care, and science of skills is being translated now by partners. And you can see here how many countries have used them, many different countries, and they're used also very differently in many different ways. So for example, in some countries, in Serbia, Slovenia, and Finland, they have been nationally implemented. So they are like used on a national level by huge NGOs that are working together with government bodies. But you also have independent prevention workers who are using them in their therapy sessions in the Philippines, for example. There are partners who are using the materials, the videos, when they use during their family therapy sessions. You have health workers that are using them in their work in many different ways. So there are many different ways of using them. This is to give you the idea of the languages that are available at the moment. We produce the materials in English, Spanish, and French, but then we invite partners who want to join and use the material to actually translate them. And that's how Listen First keeps growing. So you can see the languages that we have, and there are also some underway this year, and this list will keep growing. So how to use Listen First? This is what we should focus on most, I think, big part of this session today. First, I want to say is that it depends on your activities, on your resources and your needs, because Listen First is really a resource and it's meant to be used, but it's meant to complement already existing programs. So it's not a program that will replace your programs, but hopefully it can be complementing your activities. And depending on what your needs are, you can find a way to integrate them. So they can be used to increase interest or highlight areas that you already use, that you already are working on. And all the materials are free to use. They are for educational purposes, of course, free to use. You can download them on the website, and but there are also other ways. Just want to mention briefly also that we have an engagement section on the website. So this is under development now. So within a couple of weeks, actually, we have this section on the website where you can go depending on who you are. So if you are a teacher or you are a substance use prevention worker, you can visit the website and actually go and find specific guides that is relating to you and your work. So at the moment, we are working on this right in a couple of weeks' time. It's going to be finalized and launched. But it's at the moment we do have, for example, success stories. You can go and read how other partners have used them so they can get inspiration. You can sign up to our newsletter and sign up for more information in terms of through an engagement form as well. We'll visit the website shortly. This is just to give some inspiration because there is not an exhaustive list, but I can give you some ideas on how other partners have used them. So there are partners at the moment using the materials in their strategic social media campaigns. They are using them in their waiting rooms, for example. In some countries, it's organized on a national level so that the posters and science sheets are being disseminated nationwide. But it can also happen on a smaller level. So if you have a community center, you have a classroom, you can print the materials and share them with your, in the waiting room where many parents might be coming. You can screen the videos if you have a TV screen in your center. And as mentioned before, there are therapists that are actually using them as a resource during therapy sessions as a starting point for discussion with families and children. You can incorporate them in your training sessions around different themes. You can use them in your webinars if you'd like. There's even partners in Tanzania at the moment translating the materials to include them in a digital health app. So that is another very creative way of using the materials. One of the therapists also I spoke with the other day mentioned that she wants to start using them in psychodrama. So these are just some of the ways. I would love to hear also your ideas. There might be other ideas. I know towards the end, maybe we can, in the discussion, share some other ideas. But at the end of the day, you can also just remember that you can do this on any level. So it can be done in a center, but also you can cooperate with NGOs or governments to do it on a more national level. If you decide that you want to use Listen first, then there are a few steps to take. First, it's very good, of course, to identify someone in your organization who's a focal point, who will manage and coordinate the communications and the work. And then you can go to our website and fill in a form for stakeholders, and I'm going to show you shortly. And basically let us know who you are, what you do, what are you interested in, what kind of materials are you interested in to use, and then we will get in touch with you because so we can make sure that you get the support you need. So then we can start the communication that way. It's of course important to plan and decide what resources you have and how will you incorporate these materials into your programs. What are your needs? So if you need translations, for example, if the language that you want to use is not available, that can also be arranged. You can actually translate the materials and we will help you with this. There's a process that is in place. You will need to do a lot of the work but we will help to provide the documents that you need and the material that you need to manage this. So if you want to translate, if you're interested in that, you should get in touch with me. And finally, for UNODC, of course, it's important to collect data because we're working on science-based programs. So whatever type of activities you do, we are always asking that you collect your information, your data, your evaluation, and share it with us. And any activities that are used, we will also share your achievements on our website and in our newsletter, and we're super excited to hear. So please do get in touch, even if you feel that you're using the materials on a smaller level, let's say. We are still very excited and interested to hear about it. So please make sure that you get in touch with us, with me. We'll give you the contact details shortly. And what I wanted to do now, actually, before we open for questions, unless there are some urgent questions at the moment, because I wanted to show you the website and show you a little bit more the materials that we have. Were there any urgent questions at the moment, Verna, or can I go ahead just sharing the website?
none, you can continue.
Okay. Let's see if we can see my screen. Yes?
Yep, I can see it.
Great. Okay. So this is the website. Sorry. A bit of water. And here you will find all the materials that are available. If we start up here, you have the 3 phases up here. So let's start with science of skills, for example. Here we go. Here you can see the 5 videos. They are screened on YouTube here. I would love to show you, but we'll do that at the end, Verna, through your desktop, the actual videos. So here you can see the videos. You can see each video also have a poster with the synopsis and some more information about the characters. And with this science of skills, there are 10 science sheets that are about these competencies that we mentioned, and they can be found here. So let's say we already saw compassion, let's say gratitude. So here you have more information about the science of gratitude, what it is, why it matters. This is all the science points, bullet points. You can download the sheets here. And there you go, they look like this. They are colorful. They all have a back sheet that is connecting them with social and emotional learning. And these can be printed, and they also have a QR code. So if you decide to print and maybe use them in your waiting rooms or in other ways, that can be done. And if you want to know more about, even more about what the resources were, you can go here, resources, and you will find the scientific research behind this sheet. So this is the science of skill. And if you visit science of care, if you're interested in this program, here you will also find more resources about parenting during COVID that are taken, like provided by UNODC and WHO. And you will see all the other videos here. And they also have science sheets. So let's say the science of affection. They look like this. So the videos are great, but they, of course, they require more information. So that's why we have these. It's important to also refer to the documentation and the information that goes with them. And then you have listen first here. What I wanted to show you now, and then you can look further later. But here we have, as I mentioned, this stakeholders and member states and partners sections. So this is now in the development. But at the moment, you can go here if you're interested in getting in touch with us. You can fill in the form here, and we will get in touch with you to discuss further. If you want some more inspiration, you can go here, success stories. This is updated regularly, weekly. And you can see how other partners, countries are using Listen First. So you can read here to get more inspiration, basically. And when partners are using the material, this is where we will share them. Yeah, I think that's what I wanted to show you today. Maybe one more thing. You can sign up also to the newsletter if you want to know more, keep updated here. We also do interviews every month with partners around the world that are using Listen First, and what they say about the program and their experiences is shared down here. Okay. Let's see, I'm almost gonna open for the questions. So this is just a summary. The possibilities with Listen First are endless. I want to say they complement, but they don't replace other evidence-based programs. Be creative, but also be strategic. As with anything, you will be more successful if it's a strategic plan behind the use. And visit our engagement sections and the success stories to get more inspiration. And please think about translations. It's a possibility. And make sure that you get in touch with us so that we can help you and also report about your work. And that's pretty much my presentation. Of course, we are also going to see the videos. Should we start with some questions first, Berna?
I think there's no question here, but just to clarify, like, do they need permission to use like the Listen First material?
No, the materials are free to use for educational purposes, are free to use. There's no permission, and you don't need permission, but we would love to hear from you, because when they are used, we are very interested to hear about it and to share this information to share to others how they are used, and to see if we can help you in using them more efficiently. But they're free to use. They're an open resource. I know that we can't actually open for discussion and get but I would have loved to hear, of course, if there were people in the audience that are using them already in their work.
I want to ask, so we can use this in any way?
In any way, they should be used in evidence-based programs to be efficient. But they are open, they are a free resource, so you can go to the website and you can use the materials. It's an open and free resource. To be efficient, it's recommended to implement them into already evidence-based programs that are already functioning, that you know works, right? And to be even more efficient, it will be great to get in touch with us so we can see how we can support the use.
So should we tell them like how we are going to use? This is how it's going. And then so we need to get approved.
If you
So
are
that'll
going,
be better.
if you want to use them, the materials that are already existing, the English ones or the Spanish ones, you don't need any kind of approval. But again, we would love to hear from you, because I think we can help you to use them better. If you want to translate the materials and adapt them, then you need approval. Then we'll need to get in touch with us, and you will do the translations, but UNODC will help you and review them to make sure that the translations are in line with the original materials.
Thank you.
If there are no questions, can we try to show the videos?
Yeah, I will do that, but can I just follow up on that? So like when you guys so UN will help translate the material, but will they also help in designing the, because like it has very good graphics, so do you think it will also be provided?
Yes, so if you decide, if an organization wants to translate, the process will be like this. You will get in touch with us first through this form and let us know that you're interested in translating the materials. And we will also see then at this point if there's anything we can do to assist in terms of our network and so on. But if it's decided that we're going ahead, you're going to translate the materials, we will provide you first with the documents that you need to translate the texts, right? And once the translations are done, you will send them back to us, and UNODC will review them through our contacts to make sure that they are in line with the material and the campaign. Then when the translations are approved, we will send you all the title-free versions of the materials. So the graphics, the templates, right? Like both for the science sheets and for the videos. And then you will need someone at your end who puts the translations into the documents. So you will actually need someone with some basic video editing skills to do that. UNODC, unless there is an agreement with UNODC, we don't have the resources to do that for all the partners.
Thank you. That clarifies it. Would you like me to share the video now?
If it works, it will be wonderful.
Okay.
I'm gonna stop sharing here.
Okay. So let me just share from my
And I do
end.
see some questions here, actually. I do see some questions. So maybe we share the videos and then we can get to the questions that are in the chat.
Okay, sharing the video now.
So this one would be the video about Science of Affection. So it's a Science of Care program.
Okay.
Great, so that worked.
Yep, it worked. So Jenny, there's a question here. I think they're asking about how to be able to use the material. What's the email address for the UNODC, particularly for Listen First?
Yes, for Listen First, it's my email address, and I'm going to share it here, but I'm also sharing it in the slides. Please get in touch with me. We can continue the discussion how you can use the materials. You can also go to the website, as I mentioned, to fill in the engagement form, and that's where you can give some more information about your organization. It's also advisable to do that first, because then we have more information so we can help you better. Reading in the chat now, I see someone from Indonesia, and I can just let you know that there is translations ongoing now, supposedly in Bahasa. So hopefully we will have them available. The Science of Care should be translated into Bahasa this year. And you can go to our website, of course, to see, you will see there all the translations that are available, the materials that are available. I saw someone raise a hand.
I think kindly type your questions in the chat box. But while we're waiting for that, I will share the third video.
Great. So the third video, this is the Super Skills program. So this is the very first video of that program, introducing our characters and their magical world. And this is quite a different approach to the Science of Care. And as mentioned, these videos are meant to appeal to children directly, children 6 to 12, and for you to be able to use them with children in this age group.
super skills of compassion and respect, we and other people can't feel bad. And other people can't feel bad. But growing our super skill of compassion makes us kinder and helps us and our friends grow stronger too. Helps us and our friends grow stronger too. Feel better about themselves. It's scientific. It's scientific. Grow super skills and thrive. Super skills and thrive.
Okay, let me just quickly do that. Jenny,
Yes.
please turn on your video because it automatically shuts down. Thank you.
Great. So thank you. Great that we could see the videos. The quality obviously is a little bit difficult here in the in this program. I recommend everyone to visit the website afterwards and actually look at the video there at the quality intended, and you can see all the videos and all the materials there afterwards. I just saw some questions in the chat. How do we inform Rajiv? Mr. Rajiv is asking, how do we inform if we use the material or contact UNODC? So if you use the material, please get in touch with me. You can send me an email and let us know, or you can fill in that form from the on the website. Even better, to give us more information. And we will be super happy to report about it, share about it, include you in our newsletter, and give you some attention as well. We also do interviews, as I mentioned, with partners who are using them from all over the world and in many different ways. So this could be another way of featuring your activities if you have used Listen First. And I also see a contact person from Indonesia. I can't give you that right now, but if you get in touch with me, I can hopefully connect you further. If you can get in touch with me and see what kind of contacts it is that you would need in Indonesia, then I can help you.
I think I saw the person whose hand is raised is Dr. Prabhapun. She can actually speak because she's one of the panelists. Dr. Prabhapun, you have a question for Jenny?
Yes, thank you, Verna. Thank you, Jenny. It is very interesting resource. In my idea, I think it is good for implemented in. But I wonder, is it provide a single parent? Because right now in our region has increased single parent because we have more the domestic violence during pandemic. So a lot of family in difficulty time or the things. So I wonder this resource provide a single parent or not. Thank you.
Sorry, if the resource provide, sorry, I had some hard time hearing. If the resource provides,
If there are available resources for single parents, or are the materials also applicable for single parents? I think that's correct, Dr. Prabhapun, right?
oh, certainly, yes, absolutely. They should be they are applicable for all parents, whether you are single. We are rather inclusive also in the live footage that is included in the video materials to specifically be inclusive. So you see parents in different kinds of families, including single families. Absolutely.
Including the child in disability or not?
Yes, super skills have have actively included children with disabilities. So you will see that there is also one of the cartoons, the animated characters are in a wheelchair. There are different disabilities also amongst those children. Yes, it is also a priority.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you for your question. I'm trying to see if there are any other questions.
I don't think there are any more new questions. Do you have like any other questions? I think we can entertain two more before I turn you over to Yubin so she can introduce the final closing remarks.
It was very clear.
Well, I think what we're just about done. It's 5:51. Are there no more questions? Let me just check. Okay, there's a question, sorry, there's a last question here. Is this resources universal for the child population, or are there any cultural differences that should be considered?
Yeah, that's a good question. We have done our utmost to create a material that is universal, because it is meant to be able to be used all over the world. And it is being used all over the world. Then as a resource, but then of course, there will be cultural differences, there will be differences in terms of your programs. But again, this is a resource that is meant to be used and incorporated into already existing programs that you have. So we have done our utmost to make sure that they are universal. They have also been tested by experts and focus groups all over the world. So from experts, but also focus groups that are in different cultures, to make sure that they are, that there are no sensitivities. But at the end of the day, it will depend on your implementation. I don't know if that answered the question. But we do spend a lot of effort in the development phase of these programs to make sure, of this material, to make sure that they are, universally applicable. The characters have, for example, not specific features. The world is a mixed world. So the skill town, for example, it's a world where you have cactuses, you have palm trees, it's a world that is not representing of one specific cultural setting.
I think it answers the question. She said yes.
So I've been sharing the information with you, Verna, and so you can share the presentation, my email address, even the links to the videos, but all these videos can be found on the website or on the YouTube, on the UNODC Listen First playlist. So that's where you can go and see all the material. And please do get in touch with me if you have any other questions, and I will be very happy to help spreading Listen First.
Thank you so much, Jenny. Yubin, would you like to take over?
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Lundstrom, for your great speech and presentation. And now we'll turn over to Dr. Prabhapun, who's a great professor from Mahidol University, for our closing marks.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you, Yubin. All right. So, thank you, Verna. Thank you, Yubin, and thank you, everyone. Especially thank you, Jenny, for spend your valuable time to all of us for this session. It is very great session to all of us to understand, and maybe in the future we can implement among our region. According to the Asia Pacific of ICUDR, thank you so much for your time with us, and it is very fruitful discussion today. And I hope all of you staying safe during pandemic and healthy. And we'll meet up again if we could setting up in person. I don't know. Just okay. Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, you've been your Tom. Yes, thank you.
Thank you for your speech. Okay, so we're all done. For just a reminder that our recording video would be in ICU DDR website, and for someone who needs certificates and the PDF version of this presentation would be given through the email. Maybe Berna would say something for our last closing marks.
I would just like to say thank you and see you in June. So have a great evening, everyone. Dr. Prabhapun, thank you. Jenny, thank you. And Yubin, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice day.
Yes,
Thank
we'll
you.
keep in touch now. We'll keep in touch. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye. Kapag ka.
Thank you.